saw a question this morning that I thought deserved a video response. So here's that video. Question was, if you only had one bait for the rest of the summer, what would it be? And I am gonna say that. That's a pig pole. That's our stick bait. I don't have that rig very straight, but I'm gonna try and catch a fish on it 3 different ways. That's with starting with a 3/16 ounce weight, Wacky rigged, and then Texas rigged weightless. So those 3 ways are the ways that I fish it the majority of the time. This first way is on a bait caster if I'm Texas rigging. So KD 714, it's the Caden series 7'1" 4-power casting rod, 3/16 ounce weight, 4-aught Gamakatsu hook, 15-pound Invisex, a Daiwa Tatula SVTW, and I'm casting this to weed lines, letting it sit in there, casting it, letting it sink on completely slack line. Once it gets to the bottom, I pull it up, hop it, let it sink back to the bottom, and just hop it all the way back to the boat like that. I've got a fish. No, that was grass. Thought I had a fish on there. Sometimes I hop it once, sometimes I hop it twice. Sometimes I'm throwing it right at the weed line, sometimes I'm throwing it right in the thick grass. Depends on where the fish are. Today there's a million boats out here. It's the weekend. Bright, sunny day. I'm betting they're going to be right in the grass, so we're starting in some grass. Let it get down there. Sometimes I'll let it sit for 5-10 seconds. Sometimes I won't. Sometimes I'll hop it as soon as it hits the bottom. You got to figure out what's working that day. Sometimes you bump up the weight from 3/16 or a quarter. That's my starting spot all the time, 3/16, quarter, somewhere in there. And then you can always go up or down from there. But goal today is to catch them on the pig pole, which is basically just our way of saying Senko or stick bait. Our hog snacks version is called the pig pole. And if you need some, email me. We can make them for you. I can do a comparison against a Senko, which is supposedly the juice. The way we make them, it has the same exact fall rate. So, if you're interested, send me an email or comment on this video and we'll see if we can get you some. Sometimes you'll see I will strip line out like I just did so it falls naturally. Dang. Sometimes, depending, if you don't have any weeds on the bottom, you can drag Just let it hit the bottom and drag it through there. You don't need electronics for this. You can literally look at a map at home, Google Earth, find a spot, get your boat to it, and kind of just start hopping your worm around. The two other ways that we got it rigged, which we'll show you here in a few, are even less need for electronics. And I'm fairly certain that I can catch a fish all three ways with this bait, which is why I would say it's the most versatile. It's the one bait I would use if I didn't have any other options. I could get one pole, a couple different size hooks, some sinkers, lead or tungsten. Tungsten is smaller, denser, but Chad uses lead all the time and has equal success. So tungsten's not necessary. Tungsten is much more expensive. You can get a pack of lead sinkers, bullet sinkers, for a couple bucks. A couple size hooks, maybe 3/0, 4/0 hooks, EWG or round bend, whatever you like. I prefer Gamakatsu. And then a number 2 straight shank, round bend for the Wacky rig, and like a medium power anything, bait caster or spinning pole, and you'll be in business. All right. We're going somewhere else again. I don't like the wind. I'm gonna clean up the rods, minus the 3 we need today. So first rod, I already told you. The next rod is also a Caden 713 spinning, 7'1" 3-power spinning. We got a Daiwa Fuego 2500 as the reel. We've got 15-pound Power Pro in white, the original Power Pro, to a 12-pound Invisex leader, and 3/0 EWG Gamakatsu. That's it for that setup. That's going to be Texas rig weightless. And then we've got the Wacky setup, which is also a Caden 712 SF, so 2-power instead of a 3-power. And same setup, Fuego, 2500, 15-pound white Power Pro. This has an 8-pound Invisex leader and a Gamakatsu size 4 BTS Stinger hook. I think that's it for this setup. So those are the 3 setups: 712, 713, and 714. All that is dependent on how thick your hook is. number one. Well, works for these critters too. Big deal with fishing it like this is being able to make good casts. Practice skipping so you can get under docks, shade lines. So with this, let it sink all the way to the bottom, which takes a long time in 5 to 6 feet of water. Sometimes you'll pull up and you'll see your line just swimming off. Fish is on, set the hook, and sometimes they'll pick it up right off the bottom. Sometimes you'll see it with that white line, you'll see it tick, pull up, feel if there's a fish. Then you want to pick apart as many targets as possible. Back of that skidoo, sea-doo, whatever it is, jet ski. Let it sink all the way to the bottom. Twitch it a couple times, let it sink again. Next target. You can do the side of the sea-doo. If it's right under the middle of it. You can do the front. See if it's right in that crevice in the front of it. Thought I saw my line twitch, it did not. Basically, by the time you lift it, drop it, lift it, drop it, if you haven't got anything, there's nothing watching it, or they're super finicky, in which case you might have to dead stick it for a long time. I don't have that kind of patience, but patience is key with this. So that's kind of how you want it rigged, straight as possible. That hook may be a size too big. That's a fish. It's a good one too. So I just showed you how that was rigged. That's the result. Probably 2.5. Guy's bleeding a little. We're gonna get her back real quick. Move on. So that's one way of catching them. Texas rigged. The gentleman on the lawnmower liked it. So did I. So now we're going down a power. We're going to the Wacky rig. And see if we can't catch one like that. This is a 8-pound test. And the Wacky rig falls like this, so both tails, if you will, flutter on the way down. You got to be careful where you cast it because we've got an open exposed hook. I'll show you here in a second. That's our setup for the Wacky. Just rigged right through the middle. You can put a VMC crossover ring, which is super expensive, on there, or you can put just the O-ring. But the O-ring, if you put an O-ring on there, it's gonna make the hook sit like that, and I don't like the hook being in line with that because I feel like your hookup ratio isn't as good. And then you could cross over 2 O-rings, but that, from in my experience, hasn't been great neither. So I just rig it right like that, mainly because I make my own and I don't have to pay $8 a pack for them. And that right there is why I don't like the Wacky hook as much. I ruined a really good cast just because I was on some grass. With that exposed hook, you're going to catch everything. And sometimes that sucks. The good thing about the exposed hook is you're probably going to hook up if you actually get a fish to hit it. It's really hard not to. Wow. That's the second species. It's a pretty big bluegill to be eating a 5-inch stick bait on a 4-aught hook, 5-aught hook. We've caught a northern and a bluegill so far with the Texas rig with the weight, and a bass on the Texas rig without weight. And we've only been fishing about 45 minutes. There's the right species. He was swimming at me. I could not feel him. So that's 2 ways to catch them. That's a little bit smaller than the last one, but that was on the Texas rig. I don't think I've shown you that up close yet. Pig pole, 3/16, 4-aught hook. A shade line, shallow water. So that's 2 ways to catch them with the same bait. I'm gonna put this one down, and we're down to just the Wacky rig, which is most people's favorites. Should be the easiest. I guess we'll see. I use it a lot, but I get caught on so much stuff. Something to consider when fishing it weightless Wacky like this is the wind. How bad is the wind going to mess up your casts? And do you have to add a weight to make it so you can feel it? Oh, I had one. I had something. If I were to say there's a spot where the Wacky rig shines, it's a spot like this. There's nothing really in there. That tree is obviously a problem, but if you can skip in there like that, you should be able to come out with something if there's in there. I am so surprised. Well, there we go. That is just over an hour's worth of fishing. I caught them 3 different ways with the same bait. So, if I'm asked what bait, if I could only use one for the rest of the summer, there it is. Stick bait. This one has just got ripped up, but that's what I'm using. There's a close second, which I'll do a video for soon. But the pig pole stick bait is the way to go. If you've got any questions on the setups or retrieves or what to do, which ones to buy, leave a comment. I would be happy to answer any questions you have, regardless what lakes it works good on, what conditions. The one thing I will say that I didn't really show in this video is Wacky rig, Texas rig with the bullet weight, Texas rig without the bullet weight. You can fish them all in any location, really. It kind of just depends on your patience. So if you're going weightless Wacky, weightless Texas, and you're in 14 feet of water, you can do it, and it's effective, but you better be patient. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.